All right, we're back at you with Always Auburn, coming at you Sunday afternoon after your Auburn Tigers faced a tough loss on the road against the Texas A&M Aggies yesterday, going down 16-10. And there is a lot of things to be concerned about right now, and it starts at the top. It starts with the head coach. It starts with Hugh Freeze. We've seen the signs. They've been there. We've tried to dress it up, and we've tried to point at other things that maybe it's not Freeze, maybe it's the talent, maybe he needs some time, maybe we got to get a quarterback who will fit his system, maybe this, maybe that. And at the end of the day, the Auburn Tigers are now 1-10 versus ranked opponents in the Hugh Freeze era. To rip off a few stats that highlight this disappointment that we put on the field yesterday. The Auburn Tigers offense was 0 for 12 on third downs. They did not convert one third down yesterday. The primary reason why the Auburn Tigers offense was 0 for 12 on third down is because they averaged a yard to go for all third downs of 11 and a half to 12 yards was the average to go distance on third downs. I don't care if you got the Green Bay Packers out there with Aaron Rodgers or the New England Patriots with Tom Brady. They're not going to be successful either when the average third down distance is more than 10 yards. We talked about the keys to the game in the pregame, and one of the keys was let's not hurt ourselves with the procedural penalties that can be accounted for, that is in your control. The procedural penalties are completely in the control of what is put on the field. And we continue to stack them up. Eric Singleton apparently told Coach Freeze, this has been reported, that he needed to crank up the crowd noise system that they use at practice to kind of simulate how the crowd noise will be on the road and get used to the effect of that. That way, the offense, the line, the quarterback, the communication there can have some preparation going into the game. It's amazing to me. That comment alone is amazing to me that a player, a kid, a 20, 19-year-old kid, college student, has to tell a head football coach who's been doing this for years in different conferences in the SEC. This isn't his first time playing in College Station. It might have been his first time in Norman. But regardless, this is not his first time going to hostile environments to play football. And it is amazing that a student has to give the head coach some advice that we need some crowd noise simulation implemented louder in practice. That's amazing to me. So we didn't clean up the penalties. It's almost, I don't think we had as many procedural penalties, but we definitely had them. I'm sure I can think of about 5 or 6 just off the top of my head. And maybe that might be the exact number, 5 or 6. So we didn't have as many. It wasn't as atrocious, but they came at such pivotal points. I told somebody during the game, I said, man, I just want us to get a first down. And then the next play, the ensuing first down play, I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to take a penalty. I don't want to take a sack after a first down. And it continued to happen. We caught the penalties at the worst times. Holding penalties. I don't even blame the holding necessarily on the line because you can't block forever. And we'll get into all that. But I said it. It was one of the keys. You got to clean up the procedural penalties. You can't have those on the road and expect to win. 2 men in motion at the same time? I mean, this is kid stuff. This is stuff that they teach in Pee Wee Pop Warner football, that two men can't be in motion at the same time, to watch the ball, to line up on the line of scrimmage, for there to be 7 men on the line of scrimmage. This is what you teach. When you come in motion, don't go forward. This is what they teach you in Pop Warner Little League football, something these kids have been doing forever. And just that point alone, that we're not able to clean that type of stuff up after it's got to be a point of emphasis because it hurt us so bad the prior week. And Coach Freeze actually acknowledged that it hurt us that bad the prior week, that we couldn't clean that up. That really makes me wonder. I bear the question, how much is Hugh Freeze, our head football coach, bought in and committed to this football program? I'm really starting to raise that question because I'm not seeing any improvement. The only improvement that we've seen on the football field in his era since he's been there is there's some better talent. But the thing is, we don't even get to see that talent manifest and flourish into what it's projected to be because we're blocking it out because of the head coach's ability. I mean, you can think of example. This is another close one possession, your defense, and God bless the defense. That's another story too. I'm glad we have a couple of weeks because there is a lot to diagnose. What today I'm just kind of getting it out there. I'm just kind of touching on some points, letting you know how I feel as a fan of Auburn, and as a follower of the program, and as someone who has seen this program at a high level, and also someone who's seen this program at a low level, and just I have a good knowledge of the game of football just as being a fan and playing the game throughout my life. And I'm just kind of giving you my perspective. And I mentioned it last week. I'm not ready. I wasn't ready to jump ship on Freeze, but I've seen the signs. The signs have been there. When you can't close games out for whatever reason, there's something, there's a doubt, and there is a disbelief. And that starts all the way at the top and it just trickles. It just trickles. I don't know how practice looks, but it can't be that tough, especially on the offensive side of the ball. It cannot be that tough. I mean, after these two performances, it's really time to reevaluate the entire offensive strategy, and just get back to the fundamentals. And if you gotta you gotta start over and make it simple and just put an offense out there that is serviceable, that can manage a game, that can just stay in front of the chains a little bit, like I'm not even talking about getting first downs and scoring, but not being third and 12s and third and 10s. Like, can we just put an offense out there that runs the ball? We're going to run the ball, say, the first 5 plays of a drive. I don't know. I don't know what the answers are, to tell you the truth. But whatever it it's not is being put on the field. I watch too much football and know too much about it to really believe that the dysfunctional style of play I see out of our offense cannot be cleaned up. That's absurd to think that with the talent we have, that what we're putting on the field cannot be simplified and cleaned up. I saw Gus Malzahn take running backs and quarterbacks and run 2 plays and go up and down the field on teams, on good teams. The RPO, one of the I feel like one of the advantages of running the RPO, the pass option, that Coach Freeze loves to run, so he can let his quarterback have a million other things to do in the play. That's what I feel like. But so he can read and see if he should hand the ball off. Gives the quarterback a lot of free will. That's what the run pass option does. I feel like there's such more of an advantage to running that style of offense when you go fast, when you go tempo. Our defense is outstanding. I think probably one of the best in the country, top five. Just their resiliency, the way that we can put different players in different places in the field, on the field, and get productivity out of them constantly. The way we rotate, I think they're outstanding. But we get in trouble on defense. You've seen it the past couple of weeks. One of our weaknesses on defense, and the scouting report on our defense would be, if you go fast, you can have some success on them. Get to moving. And a lot of defenses, it's hard for them to adjust to that, especially in the run pass option. So there's such an advantage to going fast there. Gus Malzahn knew that. But instead, we're running it and milking the play clock every play, putting it down to 0, 1, 2, checking at the line 6 times on the road. You're on the road. These guys can't hear. Help them out. Like, we don't have to do that. You don't have to check every play. You don't have to call the plays from the sidelines. Before I get too carried away, another thing, I feel like we have no plan coming in, and this is a basic point of coaching football, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And there's proven success in doing this. Now, can it be sustained throughout the game? I don't think so, because defenses make adjustments. But there has been proven success that, based on what scouting reports and film study on defenses that you're facing that week, that it is it's a very good strategy to go into the first drive with a scripted drive, something you practiced all week for the first drive, that we've ran these 6 plays throughout the week, every day, at the beginning of practice, in the middle of practice, and at the end of practice, because Saturday, this is our first drive of the game. We're going to perfect these 6 plays. And then if they work, if we go down there and score a touchdown, we're going to do it again until they stop. But we don't do that. I don't believe that one bit, that Hugh Freeze puts a scripted offensive game plan out there for the beginning of the game, for the first drive of the game, for the second drive of the game, until they stop it. I don't believe that one bit. I believe he goes into that game. And that's also where this whole idea, and I haven't looked too much into it. I heard about it at the beginning of the year, and I was like, man, who knows, bro? Because who knows what they tell the media, how much of it's really accurate as far as the inside stuff on the team. But this whole, I call a play on first down, you call a play on second down, we call a play on third down, is crazy. Absolutely insane. Who is doing that? Auburn I mean, at least that's what Coach Freeze said at the beginning of the year. So I don't know. I'm gonna get back to the point that I don't think, I'm really starting to question how bought in Coach Freeze is, just because of the results. And if that's the case, then hey, you need to be a man, Coach Freeze, and you need to just step down. This is speculation. This is me watching and kind of understanding. I'm comparing to the successful programs. You get paid whatever you get paid, $6 million. I think it's something like that. Hugh Freeze, and there's other coaches that get paid way more. But big time SEC coaches are getting big checks, generational changing checks, and a part of your responsibility as one of these coaches getting paid all this money is not just to coach the football team. It is to embody the football team. It is to embrace the football team. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying sell your soul to the football program, but there's coaches that probably The football program, they're not going to tell you this in their press conferences, but the football program is their number one priority. Not their wife, not their children, not their dog, not their grandkids, the football program. Now, like I said, they're not going to tell you this, and nobody's going to promote this by any means whatsoever. But to beat these guys, to beat the Kirby Smarts and maybe the Lane Kiffins, because look what he's doing, the Brian Kellys, to beat these types of coaches, you have to either match what they do or go above that. And so what that means is during football season, it's about the football program, really throughout the year. I mean, I can only imagine what Kirby probably does. You hear all these coaches talk about coaches' families, coaches' wives. You hear these coaches refer to their wives, and they say, I thank God that she's been able to hold on to hang in. It's a family thing. You hear all that, but what they're really saying is that they're grateful that their families were supported them enough to take a back seat to what the priority is, and that's winning football games. And that's what happens. That's that's why I'm not saying you sell your soul to the university by the check that they write you, but at the end of the day, that's part of the reason that you make $6 million a year, or whatever your contract is. I don't know how much you make every year. I'm sure that's wrong, but whatever you make a year, that's a part. That's why that comes into play with it, because it's not going to say you got to put your family last, but it's going to say, hey, we need to beat Georgia. We need to compete for the SEC. We need to beat Alabama. We need to win some of these ranked games. And how you do that is you put the football program first. It's a fact of life. Life's not fair, Coach Freeze. And sometimes you have to pick and choose your priorities. If you don't want to be the football coach, there's a bunch of people who will drop everything they're doing, and their families will support them in their efforts, and they will put the football program first. So that's speculation outside looking in. I don't know, but something's there. Something is bigger than than offense. This, that, the third. Has the game passed them by? I don't know. Something more is there. I mean, they looked like the formations were bland in Manila. We don't bring motion across the field. Cam Coleman is a threat everywhere. And all we do is sit him out there as the wide receiver, XZ receiver, and he never moves. Like, there is so much you can do with this boy pre-snap to create matchups, and we don't do it. We make it easy. It looks easy for defenses to defend us, and it's looked like that for a long time. It looks easy. I mean, I don't know. And then we get back to, we talked all week. I did the whole scouting report. I'm not lying. You can go look up the stats. Texas A&M's rush defense is not good. They they're not good. They've given up big yards to terrible teams, like teams that aren't Utah State, not terrible, but outside of the big college football teams, Texas, San Antonio, Notre Dame ran all over them. They give up big plays on the ground, and we didn't even attempt to hand the ball to a running back the whole first quarter. We handed the ball to Eric Singleton, a wide receiver. That was the only rushing attempt, other than maybe Jackson Arnold trying to scramble, that we attempted in the entire first quarter. We probably ran the ball 8 times. I think that was the stat. Giving the ball to a running back 8 times. We had 1 yard of total offense in the fourth quarter, in which we had the ball 3 or 4 times. I can rip the stats off all day long, but all that does is tell the story that something above the players is wrong. And we're gonna get in. I'm gonna freeze today because it starts with the head coach, but I'm gonna get into Jackson Arnold too because I don't think. I mean, this is the same story. This looks like Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne didn't take as many sacks. Now Peyton Thorne threw interceptions, but I almost want to see Jackson just throw an interception. Just throw it. Just throw an interception, man. Big deal. Get it out your system. Like, it's gonna happen. You play quarterback, buddy. I don't know if he thinks because he hasn't thrown an interception this year that he's doing good. Well, ding, 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 Jackson Arnold, you're not doing very good. So, anyways, we're gonna get off this episode. A lot of disdain, a lot of bad taste in my mouth after this game. It's a tough pill to swallow, and this week will come a little more with the strategic and not as much as the speculation. But I got an opinion, and entitled to my opinion, and that's how I sit with the game. I don't think I'm very far off, to tell you the truth. It's definitely something going on at the top of the program with our head coach, and that has got to be acknowledged, that has got to be confronted, and there has got to be some affirmative action headed forward. So, y'all have a good Sunday. Enjoy the NFL, and we'll get back to you tomorrow to really start looking some more into all this and talk about what we need to do on this bye week. So, we'll be back at you. Have a good day. Now, and as always, War Eagle.